Hello class. Today I want us to look at the last illustration with regard to the bank reconciliation statement. It has been shared in your e-learning platform, both the question and the solution. But let me take this opportunity to take you through it for better understanding. The question that we have there is that on 31st October 2004, Wire Enterprises Limited had a cash book which showed a debit balance of this, which did not balance with actually the bank statement at that particular date. Upon investigations, the following errors were discovered. Number one is that a check paid worth 306,000 had been entered in the cash book as 387,000. Remember, this is a check paid. So in the cash book, it is going to appear on the payment side. In that case, instead of indicating an amount of 306,000, it was indicated as 387,000. Remember, this is now an overcast, or the credit side was overstated with the difference of 387 minus 306,000. So because it was overstated, we expect this one to appear in the updated cash book with the debit entry of the difference. Why are we debiting? Because the credit side was exaggerated. A higher amount was indicated there, more than what was expected. Now we are going to debit so that we minus. Remember again here, I want to remind you, whenever an account has been overstated, to reduce that amount, you record the opposite side. So we shall record the opposite side, the difference between these two, so that now we can reduce that particular figure. Number two, or before I go to number two, we can have a look at actually what happened here. And you will be able to see that there was that overstated amount, overstated payment, which will appear here. The difference between 387 and 306, you find that it is 81. That's why it is indicated here. It is indicated here because the amount that was indicated here in the initial cash book was more than that. So we are minusing 81,000 for that particular case. Let's go to the error number two that was noticed. It says that cash paid into the bank by a customer, 90,000, had not been entered in the cash book. It was a cash paid into the account by a customer. So it is a customer who is paying us actually, because it was received by the bank and entered in the cash book as 81, then it simply means that the receipt side of the cash book had been undercast. It has less. When it is less, we need to add the difference between 90,000 and 81, which is actually 9,000. So in the cash book, the receipt side, because the customers are paying us, so from the business angle, we are receiving this money, you will find that it's supposed to be recorded in the debit side so that we increase that figure. So that is understated receipt of 9,000. This figure, remember, all of them are in thousands here, as indicated at the top here. So when we go to the error number three, the error number three suggests that a transfer of 1,110,000 to Central Savings Bank had not been posted to the cash book. Remember, this is a transfer, meaning that money is reducing in our cash book, but it was not effected. Money is actually reducing in our bank. So you find that because it was not captured in the cash book, it should be captured in the cash book on the payment side, because it's actually a transfer of money from our account to this particular account, which is actually a decrease. So you'll find that in the updated cash book, that figure should appear on the credit side here, the transfer to the central, because it was not captured in the cash book and it was supposed to be on the payment side, being a payment to this particular account. Another error that is witnessed, which is actually number four, receipt of 9,000 shown in the bank statement had not been posted in the cash book. We received 9,000 in the bank, but was not captured in the cash book. So in the cash book is supposed to be on the receipt side, which is actually the debit side. So you'll find that that figure is going to appear here, and recorded receipt of 9, and recorded receipt of 9 becomes there. Then we go to error number 5 that was recorded. Checks drawn of that 6,000 had not been paid into the bank. Checks drawn, remember these are checks that are written, meaning that they are checks issued. Checks issued, but they have not been paid into the bank. Checks issued which have not been paid by the bank, remember we said they are known as unpresented checks. Unpresented checks, they are normally used in preparing the bank reconciliation statements, and they should never appear in the updated cash book. The cash book balance had been incorrectly brought down at 1st November 2003 as a debit balance of 1,080,000 instead of 990,000. This one was the figure that was recorded, but the correct figure was supposed to be this one. So you will find that we recorded more. We recorded more than what was the actual figure. So if it was more, remember it was a debit balance. So if we recorded more on the debit side than what was actually supposed to be, then we need to minus. Because it was recorded on the debit, we minus by recording the difference on the credit side. So that one should appear in the updated cash book on the credit side as indicated here. Overstated balance brought forward of 90,000, which is actually the difference between the two figures, which is the difference between the two figures. The next item, number 7, is that the bank charges of 18,000 did not appear in the cash book. Bank charges, remember, they are payment that have been effected from our bank account, but it is not appearing in the cash book. Therefore, it should also appear on the payment side of the cash book. So the payment side of the cash book is actually the credit side of that 6,000, which should be appearing here, bank charges. You will find again the error number. It was actually 18,000. Error number 8 is a receipt of 10,000 paid into the bank, appeared in the bank statement on 1st November 2004. So there was a delay here. It was received and paid to the bank on this, but it was reflected here. Remember this, by the time it was reflecting, already the bank statement had been prepared, because the bank statement was prepared on that 1st October. So by the time it was being reflected in our bank statement, already it will be missing that particular bank statement because the bank statement had already been printed. So this is a case of uncredited checks. So it is a check which has been paid into the bank but has not been credited by that particular bank. Number 9 is that a standing order of 27,000 had not been recorded in the cash book. Standing order is actually a payment from our bank account. So if it is not appearing in our cash book, we update the cash book by capturing it there on the payment side of the cash book, which is actually the credit side of 27,000. Another case is another error that was recorded is that a check for 45,000 previously received and paid into the bank had been returned by the customer's bank marked account closed. This is a dishonored check. Regardless the reason as to why the check has been returned, that check is regarded as a dishonored check. Now that the check had been received, and the moment it is received, it is written in the cash book on the receipt side. Once the bank has rejected it or the bank has dishonored it, we need to remove it from the cash book by crediting the cash book by this particular check of dishonored check. So that one you will find it appearing on the credit side here. It is actually on the credit side because once it was received, it appeared on the receipt side. Now we are putting it on the credit side so that it can cancel out. Then another error that happened is that the bank received direct debit of 90,000 from anonymous customer. So if we received this money directly, then it should appear in the cash book as such. It should appear in the cash book because it was paid directly. We expected that it was not in the cash book, so it is here. So the bank received it, so the cash book accountant was not aware about it. That's why we are indicating it here. Then another error that was discovered was that checks banked had been totaled 135 instead of 153. All the checks banked had been totaled at this one instead of this. So you'll find that this is actually another error. So you find that it needs to be corrected, and the difference, because it totaled this instead of this, so you find that we have recorded less, and you'll find that because it is money received, what we are banking is what we are receiving. You'll find that this is going to appear here because we had recorded less. We had recorded less receipt, and because it was less receipt, on the receipt side we add this so that the figure now can be correct. And the last error that was also discovered is that a check drawn in favor of Nyaga for 120,000 had been entered on the debit side of the cash book. Remember, it was 120,000 and it was a payment. If it is a payment, it's supposed to be on the credit side, but it was recorded on the debit side. So we credit the cash book with double that amount. And the reason as to why we are doubling that amount, the first 120,000 is to cancel the 120,000 that was debited erroneously. And then the second set of 120,000, it is to record that figure where it belongs because it was supposed to be on the credit side. So that is how we do it. So we double that amount, 120 times 2, so that we get to 40. And then now you get the correct balance as per the updated cash book, which is actually 387. So you come here and you record balance as per the updated cash book is this. You add the unpresented check, then you add the error that occurred in the bank, which is a 10, and then you have that particular figure as the balance as per the updated cash book. And now that brings us to the end. I hope you have enjoyed and have understood. Have a blessed moment. Asante.